Hello, and welcome to The Spark, where everyday people share their favorite source of motivation and inspiration with you to ignite positivity and energy when you need a little spark. I'm Amy B., and today we're joined by Tom Elkins. Tom is a real estate agent in Gulf Breezes, Florida. Hey, Tom, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Amy, how you doing?
Great. So, Tom, how do we know each other? Tell the people.
Excellent. Well, Amy and I are both agents with eXp Realty, and I have also taken Amy's course, and I'm a master listing specialist.
There you go. Sounds good. Okay, so Tom, we had a conversation over the weekend that was a great little spark for me, and I think you were reading the book, and you decided to share with me your vision board. And I shared mine with you. And I said, hey, would you be willing to talk to the world about your vision board and kind of share with us what that looks like for you, how it worked out for you. So without further ado,
okay, yeah. I'll share. Okay, so this right here is my vision board, and it's just a collection of images that, you know, I think that this is really like my life compass.
Okay.
You know, I can look at what I'm doing day in and day out and ask myself whether I'm stepping in the direction of what's on this page, what I've already declared that I want for my life and what I want to achieve, or whether I'm stepping further away from it. And I like using the pictures because it does. It's an easy reminder. I have a visual. I keep it in my notebook, or I have it taped up in a place where I can see it, and it reminds me of what my big goals are. So I'm just going to take you through it real quick and actually tell you what each of these images represent. And these are all basically the biggest things that I am trying to achieve. And I actually made this about a year ago. And I feel really good about where I'm heading, you know, using this as my compass right now.
So can you really make moves on a vision board in a year?
Absolutely. And, you know, it's funny because I had another vision board that I made before this one, and I basically have everything crossed off. And when I crossed everything off of that, I decided to make another one, and that's where I made this, is after I had success on the first one. And I kind of spent 6 months struggling with this, and didn't feel at the end of last year like I was really heading towards all of this stuff. And I decided that I needed to really examine what I was doing on a day in, day out basis so that I could get closer to my dreams. And continue stepping in that direction every day. You know, I want to this one right here is about taking and finishing the broker class and you know, continuing my education as a real estate professional. And I have been working really hard on this one right here, which turns out that this exact amount right here is $50,000. Nice. And before I knew that, before I actually looked, I had created a group on Facebook called the $50,000 Club. And it's about me trying to make $50,000 in a month and help other real estate agents achieve that goal too. And then, you know, I looked at my vision board and was like, I cannot believe that I picked the exact amount of money that I had like envisioned a year ago. And you know, all this stuff started really working together. I want to perform live, doing performance and music and acting and stuff that really, you know, is fun for me outside of real estate. And also making videos to help inspire and help other people is something that's important to me. And now I kind of have all of these things working together, and I feel like they're going to be achieved all in a very short amount of time. But I can look at this as my compass and know that yes, I am walking in the right direction today. And so definitely believe that a vision board is something that's extremely powerful for people and doesn't have to be super complicated. Just a collection of images I literally saved on my phone. And then you can use, there's an app called Pic Collage.
That's what I use.
Yeah, there you go. It's free, and you know, you just print it out and it becomes part of your routine. So yeah, that's a little bit about my vision board.
Where do you keep your vision board?
Well, I keep it at the end of the day in my it's actually up in my office, but then I found that that it comes up a little bit when I'm talking with other people. So I have a big notebook that I kind of carry around with me, and I have it punched to fit in that notebook, and so that I can refer to it when I am out and about as well. So I kind of keep it on me, whether it's in my office and I'm like looking at the wall of, I keep it, I have a wall over here where I put pins in to show all the homes that I've sold in the area, and I have my vision board right on that, because you know, a lot of this is going to come from actually selling real estate, and so that's my reminder of past success that I've had and where I want to take this thing in the future.
You know, I think so. We're talking about the vision board, and it's kind of a future thing. It's looking forward. I still think that so many of us, myself for sure, I love the idea that you said that you're celebrating past successes in that board too, because those are the things that you did to get you to where you are today. I feel like we sometimes forget all the stuff that we've done to get us to where we are, you know, because we're always reaching so much for those goals. We got to celebrate what we've done to get us here, because if we hadn't have done that, we wouldn't be moving to the next step, you know?
Absolutely. Okay. And so that just reminded me of another spark on top of this spark is to really celebrating your wins is such an important part of you know, finding happiness in what you do. And a couple months ago, I had the biggest success that I've had in real estate and sold like the most expensive house that I've ever sold. And you actually gave me a little inspiration to go to the bank, and I took out $300 in ones, just $1 bills, and got this big stack of $1 bills, and you know, waved it with like pretended like I was on the phone, or threw it all over the room, or laid it out on the bed and rolled around in it. And you know, it was a lot of fun to celebrate the success of big closing by just getting some money to play with. And so that's a little bonus spark in there. And
I love that.
It's gonna continue to be a ritual whenever I have a big accomplishment. You know, I told myself that next time I break that record, it's going to be with $5 bills. And then the next time I do that, it's going to be with $10 bills, and, you know, and so on and so forth. But you can't wait until the end to celebrate, or, you know, you might not ever get there. You have to take stock along the way and realize all the good things that are happening, and be grateful for all the awesome things that are happening in your life now. Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. Okay, so a couple questions about your vision board. You said you had one before this, and you crossed everything off. How long did it take you to cross everything off?
A little bit over a year, and I think that there was, and I had that in my head as the time frame, you know, of what can I accomplish in the next 12 months? What am I going to be proud of in the next 12 months? And so the other one, it took about a year, maybe, yeah, because it was like right when I started in real estate, which was almost exactly 2 complete years ago. And you know, a lot of stuff happened quickly when I first did it, and then the last couple took extra long. And I actually had to make the new one. I made the new one when I had about 9 out of the 12 things crossed off of the old one. And I think that the first time I did it, I was actually thinking about months. What can I accomplish in each of the next 12 months? it was a little bit easier. I think that the goals that I have now are more of a stretch for me, things that are more compound. And it was like once I got the proof that I could do that and manifest these things into my life, I wanted to step it up and
Yeah.
do even bigger and better things.
So out of curiosity, have you shared your vision board with anybody?
With my wife, absolutely, and yeah, I had it up in my other office, so I would have anybody who came by. I definitely like to have it out there. It's a good conversation piece, and I'm a big believer in being a loudmouth about your goals. I know that there are different schools of thought regarding that, but I think that when you say it out loud, it really crystallizes for you what it is that you actually want. And that's step number one in achieving anything, is deciding what it is that you actually want. Because if you never decide that you want something and tell anybody about it, then it'll be okay if it just never happens for you. And that's not where I'm at. I have this vision because this is who my best self is. And it really helps me to hold myself accountable every single day for who I've said I want to be, and to continue to chase that day in and day out.
Where did you learn about a vision board originally?
That is a good question. I don't remember. I think Think and Grow Rich is a book that I've been reading since I was a teenager, and I've also listened to various audiobooks and things like that, which talk about the necessity to declare what it is that your goals are and where you're going, and seeing different examples over the years, and I just decided to do it a couple of years ago.
So a couple of years ago was the first time you did a vision board?
When I got into real estate, when I had my own business and was really trying to define for myself what success is going to look like, now that I'm in charge of my whole company and my whole life.
The CEO of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I fought the vision board until 2 years ago. And when I did it, it was an amazing, it was just the best thing ever.
Absolutely. I think I've probably known about vision boards for 10 years at least. And I didn't actually do it until 2 years ago myself. And, it's become a fun part of trying to achieve big goals and do big things for myself.
Absolutely. So
what I really liked about when you were sharing is that you had one that you made 2 years ago for 2026. And it's funny, I was talking to my wife about that the sixes, the years that end in the six are kind of a big deal for us. Our first kid was born in 2006 and our second kid was born in 2016. And, it is fun and important to think about what life is going to be like in 2026. And, it's either just going to day by day pass and you'll be there, or you can really attack it with intention of where you want to take your life.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that having the different vision boards for different lengths of time is a pretty cool thing. You probably will overestimate what you can accomplish in 1 year, but underestimate what you can really do with yourself in 10 years.
Yeah, and really the reason why I did the 10-year was because that was the assignment from this leadership group that I was in. They said 10 years. And I think the reason why I resisted it so much is because I didn't want to think about what I would need to do in 10 years, But when you have kids, time flies, and it's kind of like it's putting it down on paper and it's giving you the runway for how long you have to get this stuff done, And
yes, I think that's why it's more of a compass than a map. Like once you have the compass and you know where north is, then you can kind of start to map out which direction you want to go in. And, you know, I know that you're a big fan of the connecting the dots in the future. And you really can't connect the dots if you sit here and think about it. Like a year ago when I made this, there's no way that I could predict that following this would lead me to being in relationship with you, would lead me to joining EXP Realty, would lead me to
starting the 50,000 club.
Exactly. All of that stuff that just, you know, that wouldn't have happened had I not had the compass. And then you kind of draw the map as you go along and just keep on checking back on that compass and like, am I headed in the right direction? And it kind of helps you to start to formulate how you're going to connect those dots. And then the universe, God works in mysterious ways. And all of a sudden you have things that pop up that you say, oh, wow, that's leading me towards where I said I wanted to go. And you know it when those things are confront you, that, you know, so it's kind of, it helps with that internal gut check too, of like, is this the right thing for me to do? This is the one filter that I have that, you know, quite simply is am I getting closer to this or am I getting farther away?
Yep. As they say, every step you take is either taking you closer to your goals or further away from them. And that's up to you to make that step.
And so I have another sign that says, go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life that you've imagined. And that is this is up in my bathroom. So like in the morning when I get up and I'm brushing my teeth and getting ready, you know, it's just a reminder to not be on autopilot today, to go confidently in the direction intentionally of where I want to go, and to live today as if I already have all of these things, because there's no other way to get there. So this is kind of my reminder to stay on this.
Stay on task. So people are watching and we're hopeful that they'll make a connection to maybe the vision board, right? And maybe what the story that you've told. If you could tell somebody what was the biggest light bulb moment that you had with the vision board, or maybe why they should really consider sitting down to do it, what kind of impact this will make, what do you think they need to hear?
It's clarity on what you want. I think that's the number one. So many people drift through life and kind of take things as it comes. And the process of creating it was really the process of self-defining what I feel like a successful life looks like, and what, you know, happiness means to me and not anybody else.
And it is in your control. Right. In your control.
And it should be personal. It's not what anybody else thinks your life should be about. When you create a vision board, making sure that it's your vision is I think the number one thing. To, you know, throw out what your parents want or what your spouse wants or what your kids want, and you know, or your friends or what anybody else thinks, and to just get real with yourself about what it is that you want in your life. And I think that was the biggest aha moment that I had in the process, was I'm going to define success on my terms, and then I'm going to follow that path. And I only need permission from myself to be true to that path and to follow it. And I think that that's the biggest aha that I had.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing, because I'll be honest with you, I have not shared my vision board with very many people. You're one of them. So I consider it a very, very personal thing. And I really appreciate you sharing it and sharing your journey about vision boarding and, you know, all of that with people, because I think it's an inexpensive, free thing that you can do to, like you said, give yourself clarity on where you need to be. And we all have unlimited opportunities in this world, and we all have the ability to do anything. just having this idea in your head is not enough. You have to get it out of your head. You have to put it into words. Sometimes you have to put it into a visual. You have to make your compass, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And once you have that, you go for it. Another thing that I think kind of applies in a way here is a lesson that I learned out of the book Pat Heben wrote called The 6 Steps to 7 Figures. And in the book, he shares that you write goals out, right? It's really important to have them written. But what he taught me is if you don't accomplish a goal like in a year, that doesn't mean you failed. That doesn't mean you cross it off and say, oh, I didn't accomplish that goal. You keep it on there until you get it, and then you cross it off. Sometimes it takes a year. Sometimes it takes 3 years. But
yeah, so I just passed a year that I've been carrying this around. And you know what? We all have a choice at that point. After a year, I looked at all this and I said, does this really still matter to me? Is this really still the direction that I want to go in? And actually, this one right here, this picture of Bo Derek is from the movie 10. And the reason why I put this visual here is at my old company, I was trying to do 10 transactions in a month. And that really wasn't a sustainable goal. It was kind of something that I wanted to do just to say that I've done it. And it worked to the extent that I did 8 transactions in a month, and I thought that that was a pretty good month. And, you know, but now that isn't really where I want to take my real estate career. It's not about the churn and burn for me. It's about building great relationships and helping people achieve their goals. And so the 10 now has turned into a situation where I want to help 10 people find what I found at EXP and, you know, introduce them to the company and bring them in to run side by side with me and help them develop their career in real estate. And so this has changed for me over time, what the 10 symbolizes for me on my vision board. And all this other stuff, you know, I looked at it and I said, I do want all of these things. I was right a year ago when I said when I said this to myself, that this is what I'm going for. And so I actually have kept the same copy. It's torn, it's ripped, it's aged, but that is there to remind me that it doesn't matter that I didn't accomplish it in a year. This is still what I want, and this is still the direction that I'm going.
Keep moving forward.
That's right.
I don't know why, but that was just so clarifying to me. It's like, well, who says you have to do it in 12 months time? It may take longer.
Sure.
It's
like I said, you're going to pretty much overestimate what you can, you know, we get excited and we want to try and do 12 things at once. And it's not always feasible. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have those wants and that ambition. At least you'll get somewhere.
Yeah. I know I have something on my board. It might take me a little longer than I was hoping for.
Well, I saw one thing on your board that piqued my curiosity, and it was a spark. And I asked about it, and then the next week, here we are having this conversation, and that's gratifying to me to see other people, you know, who have a vision for where they want to go, and then seeing that vision come to fruition a little bit. So I'm really happy to be here to share what my spark is and to contribute to the vision that you've created for where you're going.
You know, what's interesting about that spark on there is I didn't know what that was when I put that on there. I mean, obviously there's not that many things on the vision board, and that was on there. And I knew what it meant internally to me, but I didn't know what it was going to come out like.
Mm-hmm.
And literally over the weekend, it's come out like this interview. It's these things that inspire and motivate people, that give them great energy. And who knows, maybe it'll morph into something else. But I think it's a nice accompaniment to the other things that are going on. And hopefully it'll reach people that need to hear the ideas and use the ideas, and, you know, just be simple enough to where they can say, I can do that too. And I'm going to at least try that, because Tom, making a vision board doesn't cost you any money. It didn't require any massive commitment. You can do it in your own house. Everybody has, you know, access to a printer or to these images, and you can do this. And, you know, I think one of the important parts of the vision board is really kind of, I mean, obviously, if you're married, you should share that with your significant other. You should have somebody that knows where you're going, what your vision is, and is not only holding you accountable, but is going to help you celebrate that because they know how long you worked for it.
Definitely.
Awesome. So Tom, tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now that you're proud of, or what are you actively working on or promoting right now?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a real estate agent. So I am focused on being a master listing agent and specialist, and helping as many people in my community of Gulf Breeze and Pensacola Beach, Florida, achieve their goals in real estate, whether they're looking to make a move to their dream house or to sell and go somewhere else. And so that's kind of the one big chain, I guess, that's pulling everything else. But I am also heavily involved I have a Facebook page called the Breezer Report, which is about local life in Gulf Breeze and Pensacola Beach, the awesome people and events that make this a great place to live. And so I've been doing a lot of work on that. And then I also have the 50K Club group here on Facebook, where people can take their own $50,000 challenge. And, you know, whether you want to make $50,000 in a year or $50,000 in a month or $50,000 in a week, there's a process there to achieving that goal. And I like hearing about what people's goals are and helping them to, you know, bridge that gap from A to B. So those are some of the things that I'm interested in outside of real estate, but selling houses is definitely number one for me right now.
Awesome. If somebody wanted to reach out to you for real estate, how would they get you?
You can just find me. You can find me on Facebook. My name is Tom Elkins, Elkins, and I was just marveling at Facebook Messenger because, you know, in the past, if you needed to get in touch with me, you'd need to know some crazy email address with 15 numbers in it, or you'd need to memorize my phone number. And now, if you know my name, you know how to get right to my pocket instantly.
Yep.
And so Facebook Messenger, I would say, is a great place to find me, whether you want to buy or sell real estate, or you want to chat about your goals or EXP or say hello. That's a great place to find me. And yeah, so go there.
Awesome. Will do. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today, Tom. And I am excited to hear about the progress on your vision board as it comes to fruition, whenever that happens.
Absolutely. Every day it's coming. Thank you so much for having me, Amy. I was really happy to contribute to your Spark project, and I can't wait to see what other people have to share as well. It's really inspiring and it's a great idea. So keep plugging away.
Thank you so much for your support.
Right on.
Have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone.